What's up, everybody? This is your boy TL. This is your Week 4 fantasy football preview for the 2014 season. For Week 4, excuse me, I have 6 quarterbacks that are worth looking at if you're in a desperate situation, bye week or maybe some injuries. The guys that impressed me or worth taking a second glance are Austin Davis. I thought he had a pretty solid game until the end when he threw some picks. Kirk Cousins obviously lit it up. He battled. He went. He basically held his own in a shootout with the Eagles, which are the #1 offense in the NFL. So that definitely deserves some merit. He's definitely one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL, and I think he's going to make a strong case for holding on to that starting position even when RG3 gets back. Teddy Bridgewater, he's got the keys to the car because Castle's out for the season. So he's worth a look. Also, Bortles, I believe he's been tabbed as a starter going forward for Jacksonville. They're a bad team, so he's going to be thrown a lot. Drew Stanton actually had a very good game against the Niners. I believe he threw 2 touchdowns, no picks, so he's a pretty good backup himself. Last but not least, Alex Smith. I believe he threw 3 touchdowns, no picks, which is nice. Moving on to running backs, that's the biggest group that I have. Running backs that I think are decent pickups. Smith from the Falcons, he had as many yards as Jackson with much less carries. Taliaferro on the Ravens, I'm not sure if Bernard Pierce is going to be back next week, but if he's not, Taliaferro had a nice game against the Browns. Donald Brown is a huge pickup because Ryan Matthews is hurt and Danny Woodhead is out for the season. Fred Jackson's a nice PPR pickup. Zach Stacy had a nice game. Blue from the Texans had a decent game in relief of Foster. Foster may or may not play this week. Jennings had a really good game for the Giants. If the Giants can, all the games they're going to win, he's going to be the guy that seals the game, and it looks like he's very good at that. So any games that are winnable for the Giants, Jennings is a good play. Asiata looks like he's going to be the go-to back since Peterson might be done for the season, so he's a decent pickup. Kyrie Robinson got the bulk of the carries for the Saints since Ingram's out for the month, so he's a good pickup. Sankey for the Titans had a nice game, nice little PPR game. Definitely had the most touches for running backs there. Now Davis had another good game for the Chiefs. I'm kind of developing a little bit of man crush on Now Davis. He's quickly becoming one of the best backup running backs in the NFL, and so if Jamal Charles is out, he's definitely a solid play. And last but not least, Lamar Miller. I said this last week. Knowshon Moreno's out for a bit, so Lamar Miller is good enough that you can put him in. He's not going to embarrass you. Moving on to receivers. For receivers, I got Royal and Floyd from San Diego. Royal's sneaky little receiver. He had multiple touchdowns in a game, and so I like him as a target. I think Rivers likes throwing to him. And also Floyd. Floyd is old, and he is kind of injury prone, but he's had a good season this season. Malcolm Floyd from the Chargers. Woods from the Bills. I think he had 8 targets. That's good enough for consideration. Matthews from the Eagles, I think he had 2 touchdowns, which is also very nice. I've been a little disappointed because I thought Riley Cooper would get his this year, but so far he hasn't. So Matthews is worth looking at. Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins from the Texans, he had a monster game, over 100 yards, and that's with them taking back a penalty on an insane one-handed catch that he made. So he's really shown himself recently. Kendall Wright from the Titans, definitely decent amount of looks, targets for him. Mohamed Sanu had decent amount of targets for the Bengals. Benjamin from the Panthers is having a nice little rookie season so far. He's definitely their #1 target. So far, so good. And last but not least, Curley from the Jets. I don't like the Jets, but Curley is a nice little shifty receiver, and he had a nice amount of targets. I think he had 11 targets against. Who did they just play? The Bears? Anyway, whoever they played, he had a nice amount of targets, so he's worth looking at. Moving on to the tight ends, I only have 3. Ladarius Green, Jared Cook, and Paul from Redskins. Paul's good until their starter comes back, obviously. Cook's the #1 pickup because you have Kyle Rudolph and Dennis Pitta going out this week, and so Cook is definitely the pickup in my opinion. Green had more looks than Antonio Gates. That's worth looking at. Only 2 defenses I like this week. Sneaky little plays if you're a risk taker like I am, is the Raiders and Chargers. And for IDPs, I have 6 to look at. There's Eric Weddle, Hitchens from the Cowboys, Ogletree, Levy from the Lions, Duquel Jackson, and Jenkins from Miami. So that's all I got this week. Browns have a bye week, so I won't be talking to you guys till next week. But I wish you the best of luck. Feel free to hit me up on Sunday if you have any last-minute advice. But anyways, good talking to you. Go Browns.